bring his ass to this ring. Give me a hell yeah.
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Oh, it's an exciting Sunday. Exciting Sunday for wrestling fans. WB Ward here.
And I'm Chip Douglas.
Let's throw out the rule book today.
Let's do it.
Let's just throw out the rule book. To hell with all the rules. Let's get wild.
Let's just
I stepped on something.
Just wing it. Just wing it. What did you step on?
I have no idea.
Boy.
But it was wet and squishy.
Ooh.
I don't know.
What is in this studio?
I have no,
what is
screw the
happening
studio.
in this
What the hell's in my shoe? anyway, tonight Extreme Rules happening up. We're looking forward to that.
Yes.
Before that, what do you think? You think WWE's making a profit? How much money do you think they're making?
Right now, just because I know they ain't making much money.
They're really not. They're really, really not. As a matter of fact, I happened to find the first quarter results of their financial statement. Here's a direct quote from the first paragraph of that report. For the quarter, that's January, February, and March, the company reported a net loss of $8 million.
Ooh.
Compared to at 11 cents per share. That was compared to a net income of $3 million or 4 cents per share a year ago. They lost $8 million. Now, the very first sentence of the second paragraph, if you think that was bad, for the second quarter of 2014, the company expects net income to decline sequentially from the first quarter this year by a range of $7 to $10 million, resulting in a net loss of $15 million to $18 million.
I think this is a perfect example, and I'm using my business degree here.
Okay, good, because I'm a novice at this, so you explain it to me why that's good news.
What we're seeing, well, this might not be necessarily bad news, or it could be bad news, is what they're looking at is they're looking at loss now to eventually have a bigger gain. So when we're talking losses here, the $8 million loss for the first quarter, what happened in the first quarter?
Well, they had the birth of the WWE Network.
Perfect. There you go. That cost a lot of money. That's
Yes.
a lot of overhead. And
Cost them a lot of customers.
And so far, it's only really cost people, what, $30 so far? So you got $30 with they haven't hit 1 million subscribers yet.
No, they're right at about 600,000.
600,000. So 600,000 subscribers. I know their goal is to get to 1 million subscribers.
And according to McMahon, they're going to before the year is out, but I do not think they will ever hit it.
It'll be tough. I think with the right marketing, of course they're going to push on every one of their programs. But
now I think if for the
knows?
year you add up all the people who signed up, I think it's going to total probably more than 2 million. But at no time will there ever be 1 million subscribers at one time.
Right. And now, of course, with their second quarter income being short, what do you think that is?
I don't know.
Pay-per-view revenue.
Yeah, because that's really hurting. I mean, when they got players like DirecTV and Dish Network both going, we're not carrying your pay-per-view.
Well, not only that, you got to think of the fact that 600,000 people aren't going to buy a pay-per-view anymore because the fact that they got the WB network.
Yeah, because they can get it cheaper now.
Exactly.
The $50 pay-per-view is now only worth $10.
Exactly.
Oh no,
So,
it's worth 0.33 cents.
Exactly. So what we're looking at here, and I don't think we're actually going to see a turn in the revenue until maybe quarter 4 of the year. But we're looking at short-term loss for a long-term gain. Yes.
Okay. Short-term loss. Now, can you define within 30 seconds what it means to have for it to be called a net loss?
A net loss?
Yeah.
A net loss is it's real easy. It's just when your revenue it falls way short of your of your cost or your cost of goods sold.
So it doesn't have anything to do with Vicky Guerrero's hammock. Okay. I thought, because I'd hate to see her have a net loss. But anyway, let's go ahead and move on with.
Oh, it's a Tweet of the Week!
Yes.
Woo-hoo! Michael Jackson living it up again.
Yeah.
All right. Well, today's Tweet of the Week is brought to you by one of my favorite Twitterers and probably in the running for Twitter of the year. It comes from WWE Creative Humor.
Wait a minute. WWE has creative humor?
Well, they play off of it.
Okay.
That's what makes it so great, really.
Okay.
They're taking us back to Monday night when Ric Flair showed back up, and it goes, "We flew Ric Flair all the way out to TV just for that odd, rambling 3-minute promo. That is a WCW level overspending."
Oh man, you're not kidding. I thought that all that hype over Ric Flair coming out and I sit there and watched it and I thought, that's it?
Yeah.
That's all they're doing?
Yeah.
He should have worn the robe. Remember I was talking about that last week? I was hoping he'd at least wear a robe to the ring.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, he's not in wrestling attire, and so he's always in his suits with his Rolexes and I don't know, limousine riding, jet flying.
Oh, what's the rest of that?
Dealing, woo, kiss stealing, son of a gun. Bam.
I'm surprised you remembered all that.
I think I just nailed it.
I think you did. Well, at the very least, I think you got all the icing on the cupcake anyway. I don't know if you got it word for word, but
I remember one of the scenes was I spent more money last year on spilt liquor than you make in a lifetime.
Okay, coming up, it's happening tonight. They are, as we mentioned earlier, throwing away that rule book. It's going to be happening starting at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central, live from the Izod Center in East Rutherford, New Jersey. You can pick it up on your local cable. You can pick it up on WWE Network, but you're not going to catch it on DirecTV or Dish Network as we join tonight for Extreme. Oh, it's a good build.
You okay?
It's a good build. I think I'll be fine.
It is. Extreme Rules.
I think I pulled something.
I don't know who the sponsors for this. Do we know?
Oh, I didn't even think to write it down. I had it, but I just don't remember. Something extreme, I'm sure.
Right. But it should be fun.
Yeah, it should be. There are going to be a lot of some loose ends being tied down and some new loose ends being created tonight. And let's go ahead and get on in with our predictions. First off, with the pre-show match and probably what is one of the worst attempts of humor, since we were talking about humor a second ago, WWE Creative has brought back midget wrestling.
Yes!
And, the crowd, it's funny, the crowd seemed to be responding, but I don't feel like the performances has really lived up to par.
I'm so stoked about it. I don't know why.
It is. Now, this is the free show on the WWE Network.
The free show, yeah?
Yeah, now you can see this free. Can you see it free on cable, do you know?
No.
It's only on WWE
Only on WWE Network.
Well, then you can't see it free.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay. Well, I wonder what the big deal is about that. Okay.
Oh,
but anyway.
maybe you can watch on YouTube or WWE.com. WWE.com will probably have it.
And I bet you're right. I bet you it will be on YouTube.
Yeah.
I bet you it will be there now that you mention it. Okay. Now, one thing about this, it does kind of bring back the push for 3MB because they kind of went by the wayside for a little bit. And it took the little guys to bring them back to back to attention. So I've already made my prediction here. Who do you see between El Torito and Hornswoggle? And if you're going to say El Torito, you better roll the R.
El Torito.
Oh, okay. Then you're in agreement with me.
I am. I think he's going to win it tonight.
But you suck at rolling R's. You know that.
Yeah, I know that.
Okay. Let me put down.
He's fun. He's a fun character. He's actually a legit wrestler.
Yeah.
From Mexico. So, yeah, it should be really fun.
But I do see this all as being a good build-up back for 3MB to come back and make a return. Do you think that they can actually live, though, without Hornswoggle?
No.
Okay, I really don't either. I would like to see, that's one faction I would like to see split up.
I think they're good to keep around a little bit just because of the fact that it helps other superstars get over.
Okay, we're going to come back. I had the Shield and Evolution next, but we're going to save them for last. Okay, let's move on to the heavyweight champion between Bryan and Kane.
Whew.
Now, I just don't see Kane working.
No, I don't either.
I think once he was... And did you notice... I picked up on this. I wonder how many others did too. When he went back to the mask, they quit using the eye makeup under the mask.
Yeah, like the black?
Yeah. Where they blacked out the eyes, or at least they put the same color of the mask on his face around his eyes to continue the theme. Now he's got these two cutouts, and it looks really cheesy.
Right.
compared to this guy wrestling in a mask to begin with.
Right.
But it's really cheesy. I just don't see this working. I'm going to go with Brian on this one. I hate to, but I have to.
It's kind of been a really bad bill because of the fact that they've only done it for the past 2 weeks. And to me, this is kind of like a throwaway match for Daniel Bryan to build up to something else. So I'm going to agree with you, and I'm going to say Daniel Bryan will retain.
Man, we haven't been in this much agreement, I don't think, ever.
To me, this seems too predictable.
It is actually. Yeah. Now, this next one, still cage match between Cena and Bray Wyatt. You know, they have the push on with Wyatt, so I don't see anything happening other than Wyatt being able to win. And the biggest reason, though, is not a good reason for him to win. And I think what WWE Creative is doing here is they're actually taking a second shot at the same storyline they tried to start with Daniel Bryan just a few months ago.
What's that?
Well, you know, remember when Bryan went in, joined the family, and turned out like in 3 weeks, they ended the storyline by saying, see, I was just fooling you.
Right.
And I got a feeling this is actually the real storyline that they had intended for Bryan. But they just had nothing to do with John Cena, and I think this is their start of it. But what do I know?
So who do you got to win?
Wyatt.
Wyatt, okay.
Because that's the only way for that storyline to continue.
Okay. I see a twist here. I see something coming up here in this match. The way they've been building it, we're seeing a different Cena, and as much as I've cried for the heel turn of Cena, I'm not going to say it's going to happen at this pay-per-view.
Really?
But where's the pay-per-view at?
New Jersey.
New Jersey. Okay. The crowd's going to be behind Wyatt in this match. So I see Cena winning, but beating the holy crap out of Wyatt to where he beats him so bad he gets a lot of heat from it.
Really?
And he kind of snaps out of it, knowing that Wyatt got in my head and this is exactly what he wanted.
Okay, you know, I was getting ready to say you surprised me because as you've been whining about Cena turning heel for so long, I thought this was a perfect way for him to turn heel.
I agree.
However, I thought he was going to turn heel because Wyatt defeats him and he joins the Wyatt family.
Nah.
But you're saying he is going to turn heel, but he's going to do it by actually letting the monster be released from within him that Wyatt has been building up for so long.
Exactly.
You know, you almost had me wanting to change my prediction. That's actually good reasoning.
That's what I see.
Okay, I'm going to leave, for the official sake, I'm going to leave my prediction as it was because I'd already made it. But I'm going to put an asterisk next to that because I think you're probably right.
I hope so.
Okay, Intercontinental Champion Big E versus Bad News Barrett.
Boy, what about the bill for Bad News Barrett? It's about time.
I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. And as a matter of fact, my prediction is for Barrett only because he is in the middle of a push and Big E is not.
I'm gonna go with actually what I think is gonna happen. I do agree with you. I think Barrett will win the IC title. I don't see them using Langston in any big way right now. And,
I see them letting him go.
I don't maybe see him letting him go, but repackage him a little bit and bring him back a little bit differently. But Bad News Barrett's getting a lot of steam behind him as far as going into these past couple of weeks. Seems like the crowd's a little bit behind him. He's had great promos. He's been wrestling well. Yeah, I think it's Barrett again.
You know the thing about Big E,
and we've hated his gimmick too.
Yeah,
but the whole Bad News thing.
The thing with Big E though, big man, good wrestler, bad performer.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Well, I just don't think he's selling as much as he could be, as far as in-ring presence is concerned. That's why I'm sitting here thinking, yeah, I can see them releasing him pretty quick, because he's just not, to me, a believable wrestler. I could honestly see him getting into a gimmick match with Hornswoggle and Hornswoggle coming out on top. I actually could. I mean, he performs that poorly, I think.
I think he's talented. He's freaking,
oh, he's talented, no question.
He's jacked beyond belief.
Yeah. I mean, he's got all the right elements in there. But they really need, I think he needs to take a trip down to Florida for about 6 months
Okay.
Go back down
Not a
into
bad
development
idea.
and work on something else because he's got everything else.
He started out well.
Yes, he did. He had a
came
dynamite
in
start.
As, Ziggler's bodyguard, which was great. It seemed like they were really building him up for something, and they slapped the IC title on him, and then
yeah, it's kind of everything came to a standstill at that point. Okay, Devious.
You know why?
What?
You can't get my opinion why.
No, okay, go ahead.
Lack of creative department in the mid-card division. He has not had a lasting feud with anyone. If they're able to actually withstand, if they could build someone around him to feud with and spin off that to someone else, it would make it to better. Excuse me.
Now, who would you like, if you had choices, who would you like to see him in a feud with?
Well, Cesaro.
Oh, no, that would be good.
Cesaro would be good. In
Actually,
fact, they had some really good matches.
Actually, I was just thinking if they could turn Big E heel and start some kind of a feud between him and Sheamus.
Yeah. Oh, I think that's a different story upon itself because I see Sheamus turning heel very, very soon.
Again? I don't think so. Hey, he might. I mean, he's got a proven track record as a heel. He makes a good one.
Exactly. Right now, I still see him over as a babyface.
Well, he could still have the feud with the Big E, though. Keep Big E a face.
Absolutely he could, especially as a heel.
Yeah. Well, that would be interesting. Okay, Divas Championship. Paige versus Tamina. Here's what I can see happening. I don't think this is actually a push either for Tamina or for Paige. I really don't. I see this as being a push to allow an opportunity for AJ to interfere in the match, which will cost Tamina the match, thus making Paige the winner, which is going to be my prediction. And I think this is actually a setup for another storyline to start a feud between Tamina and AJ, once best friends.
Have you been reading over my notes?
No, I haven't.
All right, so because that's exactly what I was going to say.
Oh. Well, we can't keep agreeing like this. It doesn't make for a good show.
Okay.
We got to disagree on something.
I just don't see Paige losing. Paige has been very strong, and there's been a lot of rumors just online about AJ's return to Extreme Rules. So this would be a perfect opportunity for her to come back. I'm going to say Paige wins, but I'm different from you and say she'll win clean. No AJ return tonight.
I don't think she can
AJ
win clean.
Does, she'll come back as an advocate or a microphone piece to CM Punk.
Wouldn't it be interesting to have you think CM Punk's coming back?
Maybe not Extreme Rules.
Oh, okay.
But AJ is
AJ's okay.
Connected with CM Punk.
Now, yes, she is indeed. However, though, let me point out something to you. For the first time,
I love how you said that while you're turning to look at me and see if I was crazy.
For the first time, I've actually seen the WWE taking action against CM Punk. His image is beginning to become edited from promotional posters.
That's true.
SummerSlam's poster, for instance, that they recently released, hadn't been out very long. Now you ought to see the new edition. There's no Punk on it now.
Oh, wow.
So I don't know. I think that may be a chapter that's. You could be right. He might come back.
Let AJ have like her CM Punk shoot moment. You know, have her kind of just sit on the stage and let her talk.
Yeah.
And let her express her feelings about everything.
You know, another possibility, though, you and I have not uncovered, is the possibility that maybe AJ will not interfere with the idea of maybe trying to help Tamina. But maybe at the end of the match, AJ's alliance will swing toward Paige.
I don't know about that.
Could be. And maybe she could fix Paige up on a blind date with Sheamus and have them meet in a suntanning room.
I like Paige.
Well, I like Paige too, but you got to admit, she's the only person in WWE whiter than Sheamus.
You're right.
She is so pale.
She's almost albino.
Man, I mean, we're talking a white lady. Man, she is white. She is white. Okay, R-Truth and Xavier Woods versus Alexander Rusev. Do we even need to predict this? I mean, this one is more obvious than a cockroach on a white carpet to me.
Of course. R-Truth and Xavier Woods.
What?
I'm kidding.
Oh, I was going to say, I was sitting here typing in your prediction as being Rusev because I thought, how can you say otherwise? I mean, R-Truth and Xavier Woods, good lower end mid-card talent. Audience responds to them, good for an occasional shoot or something like that. But they're not doing anything with them at all.
This is just to make Rusev look stronger and bigger. They got big plans for him. because of the fact that he's really the only solid heel that they could build around right now. If you think about it, the fans aren't cheering him. So to me, that's legit a heel from the sake of they really tried to put Cesaro as a heel. Well, that's not working. Bad News Barrett, that ain't working either. But they still put him against baby faces. So now we have a foreigner coming in. It always gets heat.
Dang foreigners.
I think it'll be good. I think it'll be good for him.
You know, the only thing I don't like is the fact they're coming off of this cheesy 2-on-1 handicap match. I mean, they might, instead of calling it the 2-on-1 handicap match, they might as well call it we had no other idea as to what to do with these people because of our limited imaginations match. Huh. You know, it's come on, guys. The only thing they could have done that was even more cliched than that was it would be a triple threat match.
True.
Speaking of triple threat matches, that leads me right in. Rob Van Dam versus Jack Swagger versus Cesaro in the triple threat match. Here we go with the non-imagination again. This one, however, it has some interest in it, though. And on this one, I'm going to go ahead and stick my neck out and say Cesaro for the win.
You do?
Yep.
Okay. First of all, I think this is going to be match of the night.
I think so.
I think this could very well steal the show. And I'm going to say Swagger's going to win.
Swagger? Okay, and that's quite possible. Now, you may have detected a little bit of a I really don't care attitude in my voice. That's the reason for that is because just like the match between Paige and Tamina, I don't think this match is there for the purpose of this match. I think it's the build-up for the upcoming storyline, which will lead into a wrestling match in the next pay-per-view between Zeb Coulter and Paul Heyman.
Ooh.
And that's, I think, what they're setting up for. I think this match is going to be a push for that. Did you see them on, I think it was last Monday Night Raw, where Paul Heyman and Zeb Coulter actually got physical with each other?
Yeah,
okay.
That was great.
I think that was all a setup for this, and I can see that being the fruit of this particular tree. Okay. And I think that's what they're actually setting up for. So that's my prediction. I'm gonna go with Cesaro on this one, and you said Swagger. Poor Rob Van Dam. I'm surprised you didn't pick him.
Yeah, just if he wins, there's no reason for him to win, really.
That's true. There really is no reason for it. Okay. What I think is going to be the last match of the evening, and you never know how they're going to stack these up. The Shield versus Evolution.
Ooh,
I'm going to let you take this one first.
Boy, which way could it go?
I know.
What I see happening, because right now we're looking at Ric Flair kind of being on the Shield side, endorsing the Shield.
Mm-hmm.
So I can see Ric Flair getting involved, helping Evolution out, and Evolution will end up winning the match. That's my prediction.
So you're going to go with Evolution.
I'm going to go with Evolution.
Okay. Now, I'm going with the Shield on this one. And like you, I had a little bit of an internal wrestling match on this because this is going to be a little tough to predict. The dynamics are of this. Of course, the obvious thing, the Shield is in the middle of a push, and they're really trying to push them hard. On the other hand, Evolution just reunited. So there is a reason to push them as well.
Right.
The backside of that is actually twofold. One, I think the return of Evolution, I think that was a last minute thing of desperation of, okay, Batista's not working out. What the hell do we do? So I think they threw the Evolution back together almost as a, gosh, this is the best thing we can come up with move. So that's going to be one thing against them. And the second thing is I'm not so certain that they're actually trying to push Evolution because even though Triple H is, I have to admit, he looks better in the ring than I thought he would after being absent for so many months. I don't think that's where the company is going to want him to be. I think from a corporate standpoint, I honestly believe between the stockholders and the upper management of WWE as it stands in the real life world, I don't think they're going to want one of their higher executives putting themselves in physical harm that often.
Can I give my my far out prediction on this?
Sure.
One of the Shields turns and joins Evolution. Here's my reasoning behind it. Batista is set to take some time off.
Okay.
So there's no reason for Evolution to continue feud with just 2 individuals. So what's the best thing to do is to have one of the Shield turn on one or the other, and then you have that person. In my prediction, actually, be Dean Ambrose if any of them would turn. Even though Roman Reigns probably wouldn't be too bad either. But Dean Ambrose turns. He can feud with Roman Reigns. Seth Rollins can still feud with Randy Orton, and that leaves Triple H not to have to perform until SummerSlam again.
Oh, wow. So what I find surprising in there is that you're assuming that Triple H will be in SummerSlam.
I'm assuming he'll be in SummerSlam. I just don't see him before that.
Yeah. And you're right. This is a far-out prediction. I don't know if the Shield, if they're ready to break them up yet.
The
idea of them being face is still pretty new. I don't know.
And that's where I'm kind of puzzled at, it's where do they go from there? Do they go back to the Wyatt's feud?
They do seem to have painted themselves into a corner.
Exactly.
However, if you use that as the full loop thinking, if the storyline on the Cena-Wyatt fight is for Wyatt to join the family, then perhaps a Shield going over on Evolution is the perfect setup into that next chapter storyline there.
Yeah.
So that may lend creed to my John Cena prediction or my Wyatt prediction being genius and your Cena prediction being idiocy even more concrete.
You know me. I always come up with these far-fetched.
And what's funny is your far-fetched prediction here actually supported my prediction I made earlier.
Yeah, whatever.
So,
because I think every pay-per-view I predict some kind of heel turn or baby face, just because I like to think the unpredictable is going to happen.
Well,
and I hate things being predictable.
And of course, historically speaking, this is the first pay-per-view since WrestleMania.
Oh yeah.
So this is going to be one that's going to be a little harder for them to perform this because of that, because you have to follow the grandest stage of them all. So this is the perfect place for them to make personality turns and dramatic story changes. This is a good place to start setting this up for the next WrestleMania.
And the first pay-per-view on WB Network besides WrestleMania 2. So, to a lot of subscribers, this is it. This is actually... You could very well set the tone to see if they're going to resubscribe for 6 more months. So they got to come out with a bang. Yeah.
They're going to. I think they realize that this attrition rate that I was talking about earlier, where at no one time will there be more than about 600,000 or 700,000 people on there, they're going to have to do something with the quality of WWE creative to keep that from happening.
Even though I do love Legends House.
Legends House. Now I haven't seen that yet, but I can see that being really interesting.
It's pretty interesting. It's pretty good.
I bet that is actually pretty good.
It is. I've enjoyed that.
And some of the people they've shown on there, I thought were dead.
Mean Gene's almost there.
Yeah.
On that show, I mean, the guy he still has the mouth on him, but boy, he doesn't look very good.
And the other announcer, Howard
Finkel.
Finkel, he's on there.
Yeah.
I thought he died a long time ago.
No. He just really out of shape.
Maybe that was just his aftershave.
Really out of shape.
Boy, you're not kidding. He's out of shape.
Yeah.
I look more fit than him.
You do.
And that is really saying a lot.
Yes.
Yeah. As I'm in shape. I mean, round is a shape, isn't it? And I'm supported on one side with a cane. So, and I still look better than Finkel.
Oh, by the way, just to let our listeners know, if you are in the Tulsa area this Thursday, Chip Douglas will be on 1430 The Buzz with Chris Plank and Jeremy Poplin.
Ooh.
So it should be fun. You can also hear it on, I don't know, I'll tweet it, I can't remember. But if you're in the Tulsa area, you can listen to it.
I hope they put it in the archives, because I know when you're on, I won't be able to hear it. So I'm dying to hear the recording of it.
Should be fun. I'm excited.
Give my love to Plank.
I will, absolutely. iHeart Radio. There you go.
Oh, okay. That's right. iHeart Radio. And that's AM 1430 The Buzz from Tulsa, Oklahoma. I'm so proud of you. All right. Those are our predictions.
I'll do us proud.
Those are our predictions for tonight's WWE Extreme Rules. Join us here next week for yet another edition of the show we call SCI.